Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Data Dispatch. I hope you guys are having a great kickstart to your Mondays. As you can see here, Palantir Technologies is holding above the 27s and even crossing the 28 in today's intraday trading session. What we see with Palantir is closing at 27.70, and I think, in my opinion, this whole philosophy of a possible breakout, especially with earnings about a month away, is still on the table. We do have lots of key data, large variables within the market. We have the Fed that will be testifying in front of Congress on Tuesday and Wednesday, following with CPI data for June that's going to be released on Thursday. This could bring a lot of volatility to the market and also some ideologies on when the first interest rates and what those rates are going to do in terms of affecting the market. We also have two analysts that have raised their price targets on NVDA due to one key reason. Make sure you stay tuned to get all the information you need. So if you are a new or returning viewer, hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos, and of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm collecting all the data and dispatching it to you. What we see here, Palantir Technologies, like I said, closing at 27.70. We're utilizing MooMoo's interface right here because I like all the tools that they have in one central hub. And specifically, one thing that I do like to really take a look at every single day is the short volume on a daily basis, and also looking at the trend over a half monthly type of basis. What I'm seeing here is short volume is staying pretty much relatively consistent, and Palantir, in terms of overall volume that's coming in, is higher a little bit, about, into the 50s and touching 60 million here, but we're not, in my opinion, entering this like crazy overbought territory yet. So this is keeping me bullish as we have more perspectives and positions, institutional and retail wide. That's what I'm seeing in terms of the short interest here, that are starting to turn or maintain a bullish position. If you guys don't know, I am an affiliate with MooMoo. Right now, you can get up to 8.1% APY on your uninvested cash and up to 15 free stocks with the deposit, even like something going towards Palantir, of course, with commission-free trading, and along with many other powerful investing tools. Make sure you check out the link down in the description. Talking about and continuing Palantir right here, talking about Twitter, this daily chart, what we're seeing with this well-rounded breakout. We talked about this cup and handle that's being formed, and especially looking at the weekly chart, Palantir is looking very bullish from a technical perspective. And we're seeing these articles coming out here on why Palantir stock has hit a new 52-week high. Interesting article here from Investor Place talking about how the demand for AI-related stocks, and even getting into the leading competitors within these types of industries, such as AI, remains very high. And I couldn't agree anymore that we've seen this AI boom that has not just been sustainable, but has really been exponential since last year. And as investors are really looking at any way to play on this trend. One thing they do pinpoint here in the summary, at its current valuation, Palantir is starting to look pricey. Of course it is. This is one of the biggest criticisms that we've talked about for a long time. But however, one thing that's a little bit different here is kind of throwing that valuation and kind of that realism really kind of right now at the window, because the momentum is very strong. Palantir is one of the most trendy and hype stocks right now, and has a lot of eyeballs, big money looking at it specifically and wanting them to continue to deliver. We've seen Palantir continue to deliver with the several last earnings report. So as we see this and surging here into its new 52-week high, Palantir does trade at 230 times its earnings and a price to sales ratio of 27 times. Now, that is very expensive, but like I've said, we've seen positive quarters that have been produced for a long time now. And estimations for the next, basically, quarter announcement for a report is going to be August 7th here, right now at 8 cents per share. That's what's being predicted, with a revenue of about 652 million. Now, going back to this, talking about Investor Place, talks about possibly, this beneficiary of AI, you kind of have this operating leverage of NVIDIA, in that NVIDIA has really continued to soar. We've seen price targets that have continued to increase up to about 150. Now we're going to be talking about this in just a second here, but this could help be a gauger about getting these investors and market share into other types of stocks. And that's where Palantir is really starting to fall on the table in terms of a headliner. Now, it's important to know we could have some volatility that is coming up here. We got Powell that is scheduled to appear before Congress on Tuesday and Wednesday, and he's really going to be answering questions talking about things that are happening within politics and things that are happening within the market, really hashing and talking about monetary policy. We're also going to be looking for clues on those first Fed plans to cut interest rates. If you saw in yesterday's video, it's at about a 78% probability that we're going to see that first interest rate come in September. And also, it's at about basically an 80% probability that the Wall Street is pricing in about 2 rate cuts still this year. Now, depending what's going to be happening tomorrow, this is why I'm saying we're going to see some uncertainty, because we're seeing the fight against inflation that has made progress, but more is needed before the Fed can actually introduce those cuts. And then on top of that, we're going to get the CPI data right here is going to be released on Thursday, talking about the consumer price index and talking about this. We want to see a headline, and economists right here want to see a headline of CPI slowing still. Remember, the Fed said that they want to continue to see a trend of deflation trying to hold steady in order for them to be more serious about those interest rate cuts. One thing, especially, we do have a big earnings season that is coming up. That's going to also bring some volatility to the market. But in terms of the Magnificent 7 stocks, we have things like Pepsi and Delta Airlines here. But talking about the big ones, talking about NVDA, and what we particularly just received in terms of data being released and price targets that have been released. Now, we have them surging back on the 2 of this analyst upgrades. NVIDIA is up about 2% on the day, closing at $128.20. And what we specifically see is that Wolfe Research and UBS both raised their targets amid the strong AI demand. Now, one of the big things and the reasons why is because we're seeing incredibly high demand for NVIDIA's Blackwell platform, as well as companies scurry to add artificial intelligence and basically get ahead of the competition. What these price targets both increased to were about $150 per share, up from $125 and $120 at UBS. This is highlighting still about a 15% upgrade from where, an upside from where the stock sits right now. Remember, we're post the 10-for-1 stock split. We're continuing to see bullishness, and I think if we see inflationary data that looks favorable for what economics are expecting, this is definitely on the table. And I think that breakout zone above the $30 level for Palantir is also on the table. So we're seeing the stock that is continuing to surge on price target upgrades, and we see no slowing down in the actual AI industry and the general market. What we're really seeing here is not just an interest rate and Fed decision type of market that is being reflected. We're seeing more of the AI demand that is really outpacing that. And what we've talked about historically in the videos is that if we do have any type of kind of bearish news from the Fed, we usually see some type of a little bit of a pullback in the broader market, about 1 or 2 trading days, and then it's usually just brushed off from the demand that still continues to come in. Of course, the question is, how sustainable is this? But for those that are taking advantage of it right now and celebrating the gains, congratulations to you. That's all that I have for you guys. I want to know, what do you think about Palantir above $30? Do you think that's, number 1, sustainable? Number 2, achievable? And do you think it's going to happen here in the next few trading sessions? And of course, what do you think is going to be happening with the probability of those interest rate cuts and regarding CPI data? Let me know down in the discussion. It's always great to see everything you guys are talking about. Peace out, take care, and I'll catch you guys later.